Oh my lordy, lordy, lordy. All right, so let's try this again.
Should we wait a sec? Is
Yeah,
anyone
we are.
even
We're
in
gonna
here?
we're gonna just ramble for a second because,
Cool.
as you know, this does go up as a podcast.
Yes,
so
true.
if you're listening to this as a replay, as a podcast, you actually have no idea that you missed.
You did it the right way this week.
Yeah, you missed 10 minutes, and now we're starting over again. And this hasn't happened in a bit because we've had a pretty incident-free season so far. The last hiccup was maybe Terry Collins.
I was just gonna say Terry Collins was a rough time for us.
Yeah, very rough. And let's make sure this is working. I'm just inviting our guests again. If you're listening afterwards as a podcast, and hopefully we could see some people pop in here.
We got 20 whole people in here.
We are waiting for Tom, Les, and Toria, all big Mets fans that are across the pond in UK. And as you know by now, the Mets are playing the Phillies next year in London.
I think the fact checkers are saying we're good.
We sound good, but now I'm not sure if the invitation link here is going to be the same as it was. So let me double check.
Yeah, maybe
so we can get going here, because the last thing I want is to hold up our guests who are obviously, I think, like 6 or 7 hours ahead.
I was going to say, like, if there was any guests we shouldn't be inconveniencing with, like, pushing the time, it's probably them. So
yeah, and if they don't watch the show, they're like, this is how they do it over in America.
I know. We're like, what kind of show is this?
So as I said before, I will say again, Julia's not going to the game tonight, and it's a very bad look for a guy in my seat to say, oh my God, I'm so jealous that you're not going and I am, which is a horrible thought.
But you know what? I don't think there is a single person who has been watching the Mets lately who blames you.
Well, no. But you know my friend Keith Terra, who I've known since I'm a young teenager.
Oh, is that who that text was from?
Yeah. So I ride BMX with Keith. Big Mets fan. Doesn't go to a lot of games, but he listens to almost all of them, or he'll watch them while he's home or whatever. But Keith is not one to ever turn down like a free ticket.
Yeah.
And that's not me talking shit. Keith's frugal. That's just the way he lives. That's great.
Sure.
And I said, you want to go? Actually, the next one was like, hey, it's free. He's like, nah, I'm not going. So I texted my buddy yesterday, if you didn't see the tweet, and I have an extra ticket because Kelly can't go tonight. And I said, hey, want to hit the game tomorrow? And he waited like 3 hours to get back to me. And he wrote, maybe had to think about it.
Yeah.
I appreciate the offer, but I'm good. Don't want to waste my time and money. And I wrote back, I hear you, because I get it.
It's not like a free ticket. It doesn't even matter anymore. Parking is $40. If you want to eat within the dinner time hour window that you're there, you're spending another, depending how many people are there, could be anywhere from $20 to $50. And with the pitch clock, games are shorter. You're not even there for as long. You're spending more time in the car than you are in the stadium.
And I'm not trying to jinx it. The weather's not looking great either.
No, and it's one of those things. And maybe this is a good thing about the pitch clock. It's clearly not working out in the Mets' favor this year, but like I feel like it puts more of an emphasis on putting a watchable product on the field. Because I'm not even kidding. Like when I'm could go either way of if I'm going to go to the game or not. The deciding factor is, well, how much time am I spending in the car versus how much time am I going to be staying in the stadium?
I decided pretty much when you got here that I'm not taking the truck today. And it's not really because of like the team.
Yeah.
It's more so it's a bobblehead night. The Mets are giving away the bobble in front of you. The Mr. Met Indiana Jones bobblehead. Weekday games are generally less, there's less excitement about the weekday games anyway.
Yep.
Is me bringing the truck going to really be a make or break for someone's tailgate party?
No, it's just going to make your commute more miserable.
Right. So I'm thinking to myself, all right, I'm already kind of like, which is such a fucking shitty thing to say. I'm kind of dreading the game, which is crazy. Peterson's coming up, no fault of his own.
Yeah.
They mismanaged that because they could have had Luke Casey come up and they pitched him the other day instead. Now we can't pitch because it's a mess.
Yeah.
So Peterson, hopefully he does great tonight, but I think they're going against Tehran. So it's going to be a rough night tonight at Citi Field. So I'm like, am I going to add 4 more hours of stress to my life driving a FedEx truck on the highway in the rain?
I know.
Or just take my pickup?
It's you know what? And this is a question I'm so curious to ask our UK friends once they get on. But like, do we sound like entitled spoiled brats right now?
We do.
Or are they like at a point with this team where it's like, no, I get it. Even though I can't see them if I wanted to, I don't want to.
I feel like we do sound entitled because you know people watching this, we check in, once a week with the fact checkers here, and a lot of fans that watch us or listen to us don't live in New York, so I sound like a little bitch.
I know. I feel the same way. I'm just like, I could go, but I don't want to. So I am recognizing that, and don't mean to sound, like this spoiled brat, whatever. But I am also curious, like, if you could spend your money on something right now, would it be this?
Well, honestly,
at
I was
this
gonna ask some people to do a social experiment yesterday and text basically the same thing I text, and just see what the answers would be. Like, do you want to go to a Mets game tonight for free?
Like a viral TikTok, like, oh, text your ex this message, but it's like, text your best friend this message. You're the biggest Mets fan,
And it would be like to realistic people, like that realistically can drive tonight to Citi Field. Do you want to do that?
Right.
And me as a business owner, we said this on the first part that got chopped, and now this is the podcast. The podcast before doesn't exist anymore.
Yeah.
It's a really bad thing for someone in my seat to be saying it's not even July 1st, and like we're pretty much waving the white flag because, like you mentioned, the Mets haven't been this far behind since 2003.
Yeah,
that's a long fucking time.
Yeah,
I'm 42.
20 years.
I'm 42 years old.
You know how old I was 20 years ago?
7.
Yeah,
you're a fucking baby. It's insane, but people are fed up, and I talked about it on a couple weeks ago. I mean, I made that video from my car. Like, I'm so glad I have hobbies now, because if I didn't, I would be so depressed.
Well, it's so funny because there was literally a time in my life, and granted, I was like a child, teenager, whatever, where I was so depressed, and the only thing, like my thing that would just like, it was like a parallel universe, it was just a way to escape reality, was watching the Mets. And those were bad teams, like, don't get me wrong, there was almost something comforting about, like, my life is shit, but so is theirs. But I think this would do me in.
Yeah,
I don't think this would have the right effect. This
rough.
Season sucks.
Well, Saturday we were down in Philly, which was fun. The only win of the weekend. Zappa and I went on Friday night. It was kind of like drizzling the whole time, kind of annoying. But Saturday was great. We will get to some highlights from Saturday.
Yeah, you got the good games.
We got the good games, and it puts a lot of things back into perspective, because I will touch on this for a second. If you remember when I met Jake in Oakland, and I was like, man, all I want to do is be home. And it kind of same thing like now. I'm talking so negatively, like the Mets have brought so many good things in my life. Clearly, like I wouldn't have a life if it wasn't for the Mets right now. I'd be doing something much differently. So when I talked to the fans from the pregame party at Xfinity, I said to them, let's not sugarcoat it. The Mets suck right now, but you're here doing something with your Saturday, hopefully enjoying your time, making some friends, enjoying the day, and living your life. So let's have fun, you know? And I ended it with, like, I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for you guys.
Yeah.
I might be, but I'd be with like 2 people, not 1,500. And, we went upon our way, and the Mets won. So I was walking around in the section, filming a little bit for, random clips. I was going to make a little Instagram reel, and I went to the top of my row of the section I was in to get like a little panoramic of like the group.
Yeah.
And when I turned to my left, a man was like, hey, I just wanted to say thank you. You wrote on your website something about my son. I was like, oh, I did? Like, what was it? He's like, oh, it was a couple of years ago. He's in the military, and he passed away. So if you remember, in 2021, he was in a helicopter crash training for the military. And they had went to a bunch of outings prior.
Yes, I remember this.
When we went through our footage from the Cincinnati Reds game, Lexi ended up talking with him on the mic for like minutes.
No way.
Yeah, his name is Danny Prial, and he passed away. So his dad's like, I wanted to say thank you. You wrote something about my son, and they were still there cheering, keeping the memory of their son alive. So it's like things come back into perspective where it's like Jake just wanted to be in Oakland to celebrate, being on the West Coast and watching the Mets. All I wanted to do was go home because Jacob deGrom sucked that day.
Yeah.
And then Saturday we're there. We're like, Mets stink. Hopefully we see a good game. And they won, thankfully.
Right.
But Danny's dad was there saying, I'm just so happy to be here watching the Mets. So it's like so many things about baseball are bigger than baseball. And a lot of times we have to remember that, because we can go tonight, Peterson might get shelled, but that might be someone's like first game with like their kid, or last game with like a loved one. I went to put up a photo from the other day. It was 14-year anniversary of my first game ever at Citi Field with my grandma. She's no longer with us, but I don't know if the Mets won that day.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like you think about certain days. I don't know.
Yeah.
All I remember was trying to get out of there. We were in the upper deck, and they turned off the escalators down.
Oh no.
Because like you can go up escalators always.
That doesn't help an old lady.
And we had to wait for the elevator. It took forever. And she's like, what's going on here?
Oh my God.
She was a riot. But
no, but you know what? I think it's healthy to vent and to vocalize what you're feeling, whether it's frustration or whatever. But it is important, like you said, to remember perspective and to remember at the end of the day, it does not matter if the Mets suck. It doesn't really impact our lives maybe you more than others, but Either way.
Yeah, but I'm okay saying that. You know what I mean?
Yes.
People are like, how could you talk like that? You own a business that has to do around the Mets.
Right.
Obviously,
Right.
if the Mets are playing well, the 7 line does better. It's a no-brainer.
Right.
2015, we were working around the clock because
Yeah.
our playoff sweatshirt
Yeah.
was like such a hot thing.
Sick.
Kelly was working with Amelia on her chest.
I remember those pictures.
I'm pretty sure Tara was working. You
Yeah.
know, I think I don't know who was with us at the time. It wasn't Danny. I don't know. But
Right.
it was around the clock. I'm sure
Yeah.
Drew was working. It was crazy. But yeah. So
Yeah.
of course, but like I'm not gonna sugarcoat. I want to be realistic here. You
Yeah.
know, Mets stink right now.
Mhm.
Tonight, the ballpark will probably be decently busy because it's a bobblehead night.
Right.
The Mets saving grace was doing these bobblehead
I know.
giveaways on weekdays.
Maybe they knew.
Maybe I don't know.
Maybe they saw some physicals before the season started. We're like, oh, we need more promotions this year.
One more thing before we welcome in our UK Mets fans, Mets friends. The bobblehead that we are selling this Friday, it is a Mrs. Met bobblehead. It says Queen of Queens.
Right.
We'll show that off a little bit later, but I kind of forgot how big it is. It's a 10-inch bobble. If you look at the bobbles at the giveaway at the ballpark, I just measured this for argument's sake. This was the Jay Horwitz one from years ago, which is like actually really sought after.
I never saw the front of it. I was wondering who that was.
The giveaways at the ballpark are like 7 inches tall. The Mrs. Met Queen of Queens bobble is 10 inches tall. That's a substantially larger.
That's big.
That's why it's expensive
Yeah.
too. So set your alarm if you're interested in one of those. Also, we are tailgating tonight. I don't know if I said it in the last podcast that had the glitch or the new one, but I'm not driving the 7-line truck tonight. It adds 4 hours of stress to my night. It might be crappy weather, and I don't feel like driving a FedEx truck on the highway trying to get back home tonight. So
hold on. I will just say this before we start. By any chance anybody wants to go to the game tonight, I have 2 tickets. So comment, message me, whatever. But
that doesn't mean the tailgate's not happening. I'm bringing my just regular pickup truck. It's still going to be obviously heavily sponsored by our friends at Corona. So definitely come on down, celebrate responsibly, obviously 21 and over. If you haven't seen, we've been promoting this for the past, I don't know, a few weeks or so.
Mhm.
Our friends from Corona have teamed up with Francisco Lindor on the Francisco collection. And you can get involved very easily by hitting the link in our bio on any of our social channels. And it brings you to this splash page with Corona and the Mets. And you can win limited edition items. So just a couple, actually over the past weekend, Francisco hit another home run, which broke the milestone for the sweatsuit giveaway.
Let's
go.
To
get involved in that, all you have to do is go to the 7 Lines social channels on any of the social channels, and you click the link in the bio, and it brings you to a splash page of different links. And I don't know why I keep saying splash page, but get different links. And the one that says Corona and the Mets Francisco collection brings you to this one right here. So when you enter sweepstakes, no purchase necessary. And you hit your name, the state, your email address, and your phone number. And hopefully you are the lucky winner of each of the giveaways. So again, this week's one that just got unlocked is the home run one. And that is for the sweatsuit. So that's pretty awesome. And it's free. So how could you not want to get involved in some free stuff? So let's welcome in our guests all the way from across the pond.
With a lot of patience.
Yes, with a lot of patience. I apologize for the hiccups here. We have...
Look at all these screens.
I know. I love it. We've never had four screens ever on the show. Hopefully you guys can hear me and we can hear you okay. We have from UK Mets Online, Les at Les_go_Mets. We have Tom Rayfield at Tom NYMUK. And from Mets in the UK's Toria Dennison at XX Toria XX on Twitter. Thanks for joining us. How you doing?
Hey guys, thank you for letting us on here today.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
I don't know why I didn't register they would have accents. Obviously they do. That was amazing. I love it.
Les, I think that I feel like you've been on Orange and Blue Thing before. I think back in the day we used to do like video submissions.
Yeah.
And I think you used to submit every once in a while. So for the three of you, who attended this past weekend and what can we kind of look forward to for next year? Anybody can answer.
I think Toria and...
I went to one of the games on the Saturday, which was fantastic. Ballpark was almost sold out, about 55,000 in attendance, which it's close to 60,000 if it's full. There was a fantastic atmosphere there. There was people from all kinds of different fan bases, different teams. I saw pretty much every team represented there. And there was just a great community, everyone coming together for the game of baseball. But there was also quite a lot of newer fans there. There was a lot of British people around me that clearly this was their first experience of playing baseball. It was just really wholesome to sort of see them enjoying the game in the sun and sort of asking lots of questions of people around them about what was going on in the game. It was just a really great day out for everyone involved. I know Toria, she went to both the games that weekend, so I think she can probably say a little bit more than I can. But I had a great time. It was the first time I went. I didn't go to the Yankees Red Sox one the first time round. So it was great to check it out and finally get down to a game.
Has there only been 2 so far? I think the Yankees one was 2019, right?
Yeah, there's only been the 2. The pandemic just wiped everything off the face of the earth the last few years, so it's only just getting going again this year.
Because I was going through my tweets, and I think the first time that I had tweeted something about this, I think it was like back in 2016. I think they were talking about doing a London series, and I was trying to get us on the radar. I unfortunately took this many years, but yeah, I was kind of thinking about it. Maybe it would be similar to like an all-star game where the fans of the teams weren't the only ones in the ballpark. It was kind of people just interested in baseball or
the spectacle of it all.
Yeah, and you know, just being there. So thankfully, you had nice weather. I think both days. And I was watching on TV from our pregame down in Philly, and it seemed like everyone was pretty much having a good time. So, Toria, what did you think about it? I don't know if you're muted. Can you hear us, Toria? Oh, no, we can't hear you. See if your mic might be muted.
Oh, no.
We can't hear you. Let's see if she's talking. I can see her moving her hands. But we can't hear you. I don't know if you could hear us. No.
All right. Well, let's give her a second. It's not your fault, Toria. This show is cursed. It's not your fault. You know what? You keep trying. Whenever you think you have audio, just scream in and jump in, and that's fine. But I'm just so curious, and both of you guys who we can hear can answer this. But I mean, how do you become Mets fans living that far away from all of this? How did it start for both of you?
Well, for me, it started in the mid-'80s, actually, which is, back then it was very difficult to see any kind of baseball. It was the 85 World Series. One of the network broadcast the 85 World Series here between the Cardinals and the Royals. Later that year, I got a book about baseball, and I really sort of became a Giants fan, New York Football Giants fan by that time. And the first time I opened the book, I came across the Mets page, and I was just taken by our racing stripe uniforms we had back in the 80s. So from that day on, I was a Mets fan. And of course, the next year, 86 was, of course, the year. We haven't repeated since. But that's pretty much how it started for me. And then just through the years, it's got easier with the invention of the internet and being able to watch games all the time now and just being totally locked in every single day. But back then, it was so difficult because you'd have to listen to games on Armed Forces Radio, and it'd be a very crackly feed through the middle of the night. But that's kind of how it started for me.
What a clutch time to become a Mets fan.
And,
the 85 World Series. You don't even have to watch the whole season, just right into the next one.
I'm stoked to see that you're rocking the it's kind of a big flex too for people who didn't get one, but you're wearing the Steve Cohen Shea Bridge hat. How'd you get your hands on one of those?
It was when Steve had taken over. I was invited to send my address to get one. I was part of the Mets fan group, the Mets, and the one for the helps social media team sort of plan things and do things through that.
Yeah, that's excellent. I mean, I I'll flex too. I have one as well.
Shocking.
I think we do.
This is a little more impressive.
I think we do have Toria back. Let's see if we can get her back in the stream.
Let's go, girls.
How you doing? Can we hear you
I'm
now?
back.
Oh!
Yay!
So we saw you talking. We saw you moving your hands. We weren't sure what you were saying. So what did you think of this past weekend? You had a good time?
I had a great time, and both teams were really well represented as well from across the pond. Like, people had traveled. Sunday I was sat with a load of St. Louis fans, which was great to see. But as Tom, I think, mentioned, there were fans of pretty much all teams. I took some video in one of the bars that we were in beforehand, and just for a couple of seconds you could see every single team represented. There was also stuff going on at Trafalgar Square as well, so there was a buzz around that. I mean, approaching that, you could hear it for way away. Everyone was just, we've said this before, and it was the same in 2019. I went to both. I'm sorry, not sorry, Yankees fans, but I think that this year was actually a better atmosphere. I certainly enjoyed it more this time. Perhaps that's because it was the Yankees last time. But it is genuinely a celebration of Major League Baseball. And I'm going to make a point of saying Major League Baseball because we do have baseball here. Yeah. But everybody was having a great time. And, it's been mentioned there were people that were obviously new to the game. I spent an awful lot of time explaining things to people, but it was great because they wanted to know, they wanted to understand what was going on. And there were children, there were babies, there were people from, all ages. People had traveled from across the country to come and watch it. And London was just full of MLB fans. It was incredible.
Awesome.
That's excellent. I mean, I was wondering this as well, because a lot of fans, we're definitely going next year. We have an outing planned. I guess one game is considered home, one's considered away. So the way we're trying to figure out is, are we going to get our tickets through the Mets, or if I'm going to have to actually write a really big check and figure this out on my own. But I'm going to figure it out pretty soon. So a lot of fans are asking, where did you purchase your tickets from? Did you have to go on like a special MLB website? Did you go on either either of the team's websites? How did this work for you guys?
I think it was via Ticketmaster this year, and then there was secondary selling as well. So it's the first stop was through Ticketmaster, and then but the prices are quite steep for some of the seats. So
yeah, I was wondering. So is it similar to, like, let's say our opening day at Citi Field, or what price, if you had to put if you can compare it to dollars amount for US, what do you think that would cost?
Yeah, so I sat in center field, like right in the middle. I was about halfway up the stand. So sort of, if you're thinking about Citi Field, about 300 sort of equivalent. And the tickets for the Saturday is cheaper than the Sunday. Only other way around. Sorry, the Saturday is slightly more expensive than the Sunday. And the Saturday ticket was $110 when I converted it, sort of about halfway up, sort of 300 sort of area. I think it was about 85 for the Sunday. So not massively cheaper, but slightly cheaper. That
would be US dollars?
Yeah.
All right, I'm just doing a quick math here, because if I'm buying 2,000 tickets, that's $170,000. So I'm hoping that the Mets will set up a landing page like we do for our home games now, where, Mets.com/the Sevline Army is where you can sit with us, and then we'll figure it out that way. I hope that's the route we will take. So as far as the atmosphere you were talking about, Toria, outside the ballpark, are there like large local bars? Are we gonna have a spot that we could actually?
Yeah, where's the pregame spot?
Where's the pregame?
Yeah, so we're already on it. We're already looking at that here as well. So there are a few bars. There's Stratford is really nearby. You've got Westfield Shopping Centre there, so there are tons of bars and restaurants and everything, and hotels. Everything that you possibly need is kind of, maybe just a 10-minute walk from the stadium. So we've already started making some inquiries around there as well, so we can hook up and work that out, because we want to make sure that there's an absolute Mets takeover.
Oh, for sure.
That was the thing. So one of the bars, I think, one of the fan groups had an area taken for that, but it's too small for us. It's way too small.
Yeah, I was wondering, did any of these other, did the other teams like the Cubs or what was it, the Cardinals, did they have like large groups of fans over there, or were fans kind of sprinkled around, or did it seem like there was any organized group like us?
Not that I saw. It wasn't en masse like I expect Mets to be next year. And that's really exciting for me, because I think that we're going to show exactly how it can be here. It was great, don't get me wrong, it was amazing, and there were fans dotted about all over the place, but I think the idea of us having sections full of Met fans is just going to be incredible, because it's just going to be that focus, and we're going to be able to see. I know Mets Twitter was already going nuts about it all, so I know that the Mets fans from across the pond are going to travel en masse. There was loads of Mets fans around over the weekend, so we'll all be together. We'll get our crew together over here. It's going to be incredible.
So
how strict is the venue with bringing in like noisemakers and flags? Because I know like soccer, they'll do like smoke and stuff like that.
We're doing research right now.
Well, no, we are. I'm just trying to.
This is awesome.
This is recon. I'm trying to figure out for next year, because some places we go, we can bring in flags. You can't bring in a flagpole. You can't bring in this. You could bring in that. Like we got in trouble in Atlanta for our thunder sticks, and like but you watch the World Baseball Classic, and obviously on the world stage, you're trying to promote the game. And when you're over there, obviously the soccer crowd is more, football crowd is more rambunctious normally than like an average baseball game.
Right.
So what can you really get away with there? Are they pretty strict? They're like, how does the gates?
No, so there were some Cubs fans next to me in centre field that they all had their own sort of flags that they were waving around. They didn't have them on poles, but they were quite large, the flags, sort of 2 or 3 people holding it up at a time. Security were fine with that. I never saw any issues there when I was there.
That's good.
All right, flags check.
All right,
Yeah.
flags.
I wouldn't recommend trying to bring poles, any kind of implement that's like that. But it's much more relaxed than it is for a football match setup. Way
Okay.
more.
That's great. So we heard from the guys, Toria, am I saying it right? Is it Toria?
Yeah.
All right, Toria. So how did you become a Mets fan? Because it's kind of like the game starts so late unless you were already over here and maybe you had a connection to someone from the States. Like, how did it work out for you?
No, so I watched bits and pieces when I was younger. I'm sure the guys said the same thing. We used to get bits and pieces on terrestrial TV over here. And then I had a subscription service to a channel that carries a lot of ESPN coverage. And it was showing baseball, and I wanted to make sure that I was getting the most out of that subscription. I already had the interest. The first game I watched, we lost to the Braves.
Sounds about right.
Yeah, and then I think one of the beautiful things about baseball is you can watch game after game after game, right, day after day. So I was able to watch them again and again, and the Mets specifically, back then I'm talking kind of 2010, 2011, just my football team here is very similar to the Mets, let's say. And it was the grittiness and the underdog and the playing for each other and the community feel, all of those kind of things just called to me. So it made sense for me it was easy for me to root for that team. And that's how it worked.
I was going to say those 2 very different origin stories, right before '86 and then the 2010 Mets. That's a different scenario there.
Do you all root for the same football team?
No, all different.
There is one unifying factor here. It's the Mets.
Yeah, we have a couple people in the comment. I don't know if you guys can see the comments as well, but our buddy Dave is asking, you might know Dave Mets Dugout. He wants to know if they sell beer at the games because it's soccer.
They do.
Yeah.
You can go and sit in the stand with your drink. It's amazing.
Why do they do that? Why do they cut off? Like maybe like fights or something? Like why do they not serve alcohol at soccer games? I feel like that's a huge revenue missed opportunity.
Well,
probably
the history.
Yeah, and I think with football matches, so I'm a season ticket holder for my football team as well. So I go a lot of football matches, and it's very partisan. So you'll find that I think the fact that we're separated, it kind of encourages that partisan behavior, and then you get people that have been drinking all day and they carry it into the stands. I mean, there was a European game recently, and fans of the team, the British team that were playing in that final, started throwing glasses and stuff, plastic. I mean, it was plastic, but throwing glasses and stuff onto the field. Like, this is why we're not allowed beer in the stands at football matches, because some of them get a bit silly. But I think a lot of that is down to you go to a baseball game and people generally can be mixed. But you go to a football match and we're separated, and it encourages that that behavior amongst the fans that start getting thrown. And
yeah, so it sounds like the expectation is we're supposed to be calm.
Yeah.
They're trusting us with alcohol at a baseball game.
Well, we're good. We're calm. So before we let you go, I want to give you a chance to promote what you're doing over there, because Les I've known for a number of years with UK Mets Online. So Les, why don't you tell people watching or listening a little bit about that, and then we could talk with Toria about Mets in the UKs.
Yeah, basically UK Mets Online was just to try and bring Mets fans together and make people aware that the Mets exist, because in the UK you'll see lots of New York Yankees caps, but most of the people are probably know nothing about baseball. But if you see somebody with a Mets cap, they probably know about baseball. So yeah, it's just to try and promote the game and just get people to talk to you about the game, because before Twitter and the internet, we couldn't really communicate with each other or have sort of like parties and stuff about watch parties, watching games the way you can now. So that was pretty much it.
Yeah, I've seen you put together a few events, different bars and things like that. I think, like we talk about, although times like this where we're kind of saying, oh man, tonight's going to be a struggle at Citi Field, to put it all into perspective, getting together, the community aspect, like Toria was talking about, such a big part of being a fan of whatever team in any sport. And community aspect is always something that I try to promote. So I love to see it over there as well. So Tom, do you write for anyone? Are you guys together for any of these podcasts or anything? Or you just happen to be friendly with everyone? Or how's it
I'm friendly with everyone. Yeah,
that's great. And I like the shirt. I saw
fan on Twitter.
I don't know how you picked that up because I know we can't ship internationally, but I could see the top of your shirt. I appreciate the 7-line love.
Yeah, so I was over for the Philly series at the end of May, so I picked it up whilst I was there.
Oh, you got to come back. They haven't won a series since.
If anyone's happy to pay for my flight, I would be there. Even if we're playing badly, I'd still be there.
I was just going to say, I need them to humble us and tell us, if you had the chance to go straight from work to the game tonight, would you do it, even though they're playing the way they're playing?
100% a heartbeat.
Okay. All right. We need to calm down.
I know. Yeah. We have to.
We got to get it together.
We got to chill over here. And Toria, can you tell us about Mets in the UK?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we have the same purpose. We just want to be a place where Mets fans can come together. We do a podcast. We do some spaces after the games and stuff, so that we can just come together and chat and share the woes. I think to be a baseball fan, full stop, in the UK requires a certain level of madness. So to be able to go to one place to get those people together is really handy. And ultimately, we're all just trying to grow the game here, right? We're trying to make sure that people know that it's accessible and make sure that people know that there is a home for it here, and that they're not on their own watching some random sport that nobody else knows about. There's somewhere that they can come and chat and get involved and keep that community vibe.
Yeah, it's great. And, I'm really looking forward to it. I've been looking forward to it since 2016 or whenever we first started talking about this. And I'm glad that MLB has picked the Mets and the Phillies next year. I think that rivalry is becoming a big thing again. And I'm hoping that by the time we get there next year, the Mets get their act together, because it would be, if we were going through a stretch like this and then like the Philly series was next month and we're like,
I might have accidentally lost my passport.
Yeah. Julia would be like, I'm going to maybe see if I can cancel that flight and stay home.
No, absolutely not. This made me a lot more all in to want to go. Because first we were talking about it, I'm like, I don't know if I want to spend the money to go maybe watch them lose, but like there's something very special about hearing you guys talk about it and how different our experiences of fandom are, and it makes me take it less for granted. So yeah, for sure.
So I appreciate your time. Thanks for hopping on with us. And
wait, quick, Toria, before you go, I've been dying to know the entire time, but I've been behaving. What is your cat's name? Rosie, thank you for joining us. Okay, go ahead.
That's the second pet on the show.
I know. We've been doing great with our guests.
We had Seaver on, who is the new Mets dog, a couple episodes ago.
So cute.
So cute.
Seaver's first game at Citi Field will be tomorrow night.
Yeah.
Julia was thinking about not going to Belize.
Yeah, I'm supposed to go to Belize tomorrow, but I think I might skip it to go catch Seaver's first game instead. We'll see.
All right. So Les at Les with a Z _go _Mets. Tom Rayfield at Tom NYM UK, and Toria at XX Toria XX. We appreciate you hopping on with us. And if you're listening to this afterwards, make sure you go follow them on Twitter. I'm sure we'll be seeing a whole bunch of great content leading up to the series next season, June 8th and 9th in London. If you're looking to sit with the 7-Line Army next year, join our mailing list. And as soon as I have all those details figured out, we will be posting them on our website and also emailing everyone about it. I am working on the hotel, like the discounted hotel block already.
Very important for this trip.
And everyone will be responsible for their own flights, of course, but I will do what I can to try to make
this rally
experience as inexpensive as possible. Rally plane, no.
Ugh,
all right, guys. Thank you so much. And we'll talk to you soon.
Thanks, guys.
See you in London.
Absolutely. All right. So that ended up working
wonderful.
out. I apologize to everyone listening and especially our guests for the little hiccup. We haven't had a hiccup like that in almost a year.
I know that was, and that might have been the worst one yet. 'Cause
Right.
The technical
I've never had to like
difficulties-
turn
Yeah,
the
we turned the whole thing off and started from scratch.
turn off, start over.
You were copy and pasting the caption and everything. It was
Yeah,
It
and
was
you
a
know
rough
we didn't
one.
even we didn't do our little retweet where we normally do.
no. I don't know if anyone's watching.
No, we had a good amount of watchers,
Okay,
good amount of viewers. So especially for all, I'm sure a lot of people are checking in from across the pond that
Yes.
maybe don't watch any of our
I
content.
am willing to bet the majority of the people watching are people from across the pond who are like, I don't care if this show sucks. I'm not missing people I know being on the show. And
Yeah.
they made the efforts to find the new link. So thank you.
Absolutely. And sorry about that. So something that we should not be sorry about is ever promoting our friends at TickPick because
So true, bestie.
Bestie, who's Bestie? Me?
Yeah.
Oh,
We're
okay.
besties.
Oh my God, the screen just went gray. Did you see that? It just got
I
dark. It just
did.
got dark. I don't know
Oh,
what's going on now.
What's going on?
I don't know. Tell the people about TickPick
All
because we love
right.
TickPick.
We love TickPick. And if I sound like I'm underwater again, let me know. But TickPick, the best place to go if you want to get tickets to any sort of event, whether it be a concert, a sporting event, a comedy show, no matter what it is, go to TickPick. You are going to get the best possible price. Price. There are no hidden taxes or fees. The price you see is the price you get. They're going to help you find the best deal on seats. You can click a seat, look at the price, and they will tell you, are you actually getting a good deal or are you being duped? And we'll make sure you're spending your money wisely. So go to tickpick.com, download the TickPick app, make sure to use our code OABT to get $10 off any order over $99 in the app for first-time users. And
So
yeah.
unfortunately, we like to play this game, and it's not a good game because we want the tickets to be more expensive. That means the Mets are playing well, and you'd want to be there.
Yeah.
I have never seen a giveaway night's tickets be this inexpensive.
Oh God. How much can you get this bobblehead for?
Do you want to say? You want
I
to
can't
guess?
see.
You want to guess?
$4.
$5. You can't do anything for $5.
Damn. I mean,
And-
parking is 8 times that price.
No fees, $5. You go tomorrow for $6. You can go on Thursday for $4
Damn.
because there's no giveaway. You can go on Friday for $14. You can go on Saturday for $13. You can go on Sunday
Might be a
for
little too
$12.
pricey.
You could pretty much go to every game this week for the same price as it would be to park once. So
You
if
would need to invite a lot of friends
1,
to be
2,
able
3,
to use our
4,
promo
5,
code.
6. That's 20, 10, 20, 30, 40.
Oh, good. Live math.
You can go to every game this week for $54 total if you go on TickPick.
That's insane.
Yeah, and it's sad.
That's wild.
That is sad.
And it only makes the spotlight of the parking price that much brighter because of, I mean, I guess if you could take the train.
Well, just park up the street. You know,
Yeah.
you could park underneath that. I mean, at the mall for
overpass.
whatever the price is.
Yeah.
So anyway, back to Philly for a second because Bennett did throw out
Yes, this is the only thing I care about. How did that go?
excellent.
Yeah.
And we have a new addition to the wall here, Bennett Strong. I have some stuff here that
I
Bennett's,
love it.
Bennett's parents came over.
Did anybody get video?
Yeah, they did. They posted. I retweeted it.
Oh, I gotta see it.
and I
Pull
also
it
put
up.
it on our Facebook page.
I want to watch it. I didn't see
All
it.
right, let me see if I can pull this up really quickly here.
I was in Florida this weekend, so I have an excuse. I was not present.
I can't pull it up right now because if you remember the last time I tried to get it on the
Yeah,
Facebook
we're
page,
taking too many risks here.
yeah, it's let's not get ahead
We'll
of
watch
ourselves.
later.
But they gave us a few things here. Obviously, they put on events, like fundraising events. So they have a whole bunch of stuff
Ooh.
from their different events.
I like
And
the dice.
if anyone wants anything from Bennett Strong, shoot us a DM and
That's awesome.
we will send some stuff out. Got some stickers. We got some dice here. I was thinking about maybe playing CeeLo in the stands during the game. That would have been good if you want to get a little gambling on. I don't know if that's legal or not, but that's the story. So shout out to the Bennetts, not the Bennetts.
The
Shout out to
Bennetts.
Bennett for doing a great job and representing your fan base and the Southern Army.
We had Phillies fans cheering.
Oh, yes,
Perfect.
for sure. And
Much better this time around.
I do want to. I talked about the bobblehead before we went on with the UK Mets fans because this Friday, which obviously is horrendous timing to come out with new products right now, but
Show must go on.
the show
baby.
must go on. The 7 line will roll on.
What are those? Were those yams?
I don't know what that was. Someone put that up. Yeah, I saw that earlier.
I can't tell what it is. What is it?
GQ, Dominican Essentials. I don't know what that is.
All right.
It looks like, I don't know, it looks like ginger or something.
Okay.
Anyway,
Anyway.
here, I'll pop this on. Maybe someone else that's watching could let us know.
Fact checkers, what is this?
What is this?
This should be a new segment we do.
He's in Washington Heights, and it
Okay.
says Dominican Essentials.
Okay.
I don't know what
To
that
be
is.
fair, I'm far away. I really can't tell what it is.
It kind of looks like potatoes.
All right. I thought it was yams.
Maybe it's yams, maybe it's ginger. I don't know. But anyway, what we got going on this Friday is this freaking awesome Mrs. Met bobblehead. The Queen of Queens,
So
Mrs.
cool.
Met sitting in a throne holding a, what do you call this thing that she's holding?
Staff.
A staff
Mhm.
with a gold Mets apple on the top. She's wearing a
Sick.
crown, the orange and blue robe, sitting on top of like a circular city field, and it says Queen of Queens on the front.
So cool.
There's the cool texture on the back of the chair here, and then on the back is our logo. She's sitting on the 7-line throne.
That's awesome.
So the caption says, "We love Mrs. Met and feel she doesn't get nearly enough attention. No disrespect to Joan Payson and, of course, Alex Cohen, but Mrs. Met is the mascot Queen of Queens." This 10-inch tall limited edition bobblehead drops on Friday morning at 10 a.m. So hit the7line.com, set yourself up with a reminder for this Friday at 10 a.m. This is a limited edition, one-time only release. They are 10 inches tall, and like I was saying before we went live with the UK fans, it is a little bit more expensive than normal because of two things.
You're
limited
paying for
edition.
quality.
Paying for the quality, they're hand painted and they're 10 inches tall. So the average bobbleheads are on 7. Our chalkboard is around 10. So figure this is the size of the bobblehead.
And she's got a staff.
And
It's
she
made
has a
of
gold staff. So definitely set yourself up with a reminder and pick
Paying
that
for
up on
royalty.
Friday. One more thing, the party cruise is next Friday, July 7th. A lot of things are happening between now and
That's
then.
crazy that that's happening already.
Yeah.
I feel like you just rescheduled it.
Yeah, that was April. So it
Good
is
mistake.
July 7th, leaving from the World's Fair Marina, traveling from there around the Statue of Liberty and back. It's $116. Open bar, dinner included, like ballpark snacks also like passed around, and then the DJ on the top deck. Let me check the early Doppler. Either way, this is rain or shine. The only reason it got
course.
canceled last time was because the game was going to potentially be
Right.
played, which it was,
Right.
played on Friday.
You didn't want to scramble.
Yeah, and I think that would have been insane trying
Yeah.
to do the game and then the cruise. If there is inclement weather, there we go.
Oh no, our battery's running low.
Oh my God.
Hurry up.
If there is inclement weather, don't worry, the top deck is covered, so we're all good. So let me look really quick before we turn this off. Next Friday in Queens, it says right now 81 degrees and sunny. So
Let's
a
go.
perfect night to cruise around New York City. See you guys tonight. Tailgating at starting pretty much
We
now.
talked about Corona?
Talked about Corona, of
We
course.
did? Okay, good.
Talked about Corona.
I'm just making sure we cover all our
Remember
bases.
Lindor
Yes,
collection?
it was before. That's why I forgot.
Celebrate responsibly. We
Okay,
love
good.
Corona.
We acknowledged all our friends.
Come on down for some Corona premieres tonight at the tailgate. I will not be there with the giant truck. I'll be there with my pickup. Same shit. You'll see the 7-Line Army flag, and I'll have a gigantic cooler with me. 21 and over, obviously. Relax responsibly. Do your part in saying thank you to Corona USA as well. And we will see you over at Citi Field.
All right, the battery's dying.
All right, bye.
Somebody that needs to
Oh, wait, hold on.
better. Okay, bye.